He can't do that. He's obviously a big part of what we do offensively. He's our double returner today. He's kickoffs and punt returns today. So, losing him, that's a big deal. Plus the penalty yards after that. But he can't do it.
Well, that was just one of 13 penalties for 120 yards that Vance Joseph said cost the Broncos 20 points and the game. We'll take you to Baltimore. Hear from Vance, Case Keenum, Von Miller. Complete coverage of Troy Rank at 10:35 on Xfinity Sports Extra.
All right. Thanks, Lionel. I hope you enjoyed this warm weekend because you might need to grab a jacket before you leave for work in the morning.
Let's check it out with meteorologist Stacey Donaldson, who joins us now in the Weather Center. Stacey, it's about to feel a little bit more like fall out there.
It is. Some big changes on the way, and today was significant. First full day of fall, and we hit 88 degrees for a high today. The record set back in 1905 was 90 degrees, and we should only be at 75 this time of year. So tremendously hot here across the Front Range. We are going to change this here in the coming days. Upper 80s, low 90s here for the Front Range and the Plains, 60s and 70s for the mountains. But here comes a cold front that's about to change everything, and I'll show you exactly what that means for your neighborhood coming up in a few minutes.
We'll see you in a bit. Thanks, Stacey. New tonight at 10, it's an epidemic. We're talking about Colorado kids using e-cigarettes.
Today, one of those e-cig makers placed a full-page ad in the Denver Post warning parents.
Denver 7's Lance Hernandez joins us live tonight. Lance, you found out this is all because the FDA is cracking down.
The Food and Drug Administration has ordered e-cigarette makers to do a better job of keeping e-cigs out of the hands of kids. Now, I talked with a couple of college students who are addicted to vaping. They started vaping for fun when they were much younger. One was intrigued by the flavors and by the ability to do tricks with smoke.
I was about 15 or 16 years of age.
Julien Lavondier first tried e-cigarettes because they were much cleaner than regular cigarettes.
While I was enjoying the flavors and making smoke tricks, I didn't even realize that I was building, this addiction to nicotine.
He soon realized he needed to vape every day.
I would get mood swings, I would get headaches, migraines, I'd get sweat, and my whole demeanor changed.
Earlier this month, the FDA sent more than 1,300 warning letters to and issued monetary fines on retailers who illegally sold Juul and other e-cigarette products to minors during an undercover sting operation. The agency says it may require those manufacturers to remove some or all of their flavored products from store shelves until they receive pre-market authorization.
It's a lot harder to quit because you have these awesome flavors, like mango and cucumber and cool mint and all of them, and so it becomes more difficult to quit it because of those amazing flavors.
That's why the FDA is launching the Real Cost campaign to warn kids about the dangers of vaping.
Vaping can deliver nicotine to your brain, reprogramming you to crave more and more.
The Fort Collins couple says they've heard talk about vaping causing popcorn lung.
That's kind of scary. I'm only 19 years old, and the idea of me having popcorn lungs in 10 years kind of freaks me out a little bit.
They say the FDA campaign may work short-term, but not long-term.
It's like cops and robbers. We'll always, create new legislation and impose new regulations on these companies, and they'll just develop products that bypass these regulations.
Now, the FDA commissioner says they won't tolerate a whole generation of young people becoming addicted to nicotine as a trade-off for enabling adults to have unfettered access to those same products. Tom?
We'll see how it plays out. Thank you, Lance. Developing tonight, police are looking for the driver who hit and seriously injured a person in busy downtown Denver. The crash happened last night around 10 o'clock at 21st and Larimer. Denver police are not saying very much tonight. So far, they haven't released any details about the victim or the suspect's vehicle. A sigh of relief in Inglewood tonight. Police say they have caught the man suspected in a series of crimes last week. 26-year-old Garrick Wood is accused of threatening two people with a knife and setting fire to his shed. Those actions put a nearby school on lockdown. Officers were able to identify Wood through neighbors using their Nextdoor app.
And new at 10, a drive-by shooting in North Glen sends a 21-year-old man to the hospital, and police are looking for the shooter. They say that man was walking here near West 100th Place and Huron Street this afternoon when a black or gray sedan slowed down and someone opened fire, shooting that man in the shoulder. He was able to get inside a nearby house where the homeowner called 911 for help. And a motorcycle rider dies in Commerce City while police say he was trying to get away from officers. Police say they tried to pull over the bike for speeding this morning, but the rider took off. A short time later, they say he ran into a car here at 72nd and Ivy and was killed.
Tomorrow, a Johnstown police officer will be laid to rest. Officer Yuri Thomas drowned in Horsetooth Reservoir last week. Right now on the DenverChannel.com, we have a link to a GoFundMe page to help out the Thomas family.
And a news alert tonight because of heavy smoke in the air. The health department is issuing an advisory for people in western Grand County, saying it's smoke from the Silver Creek fire. Areas north of Kremling are most affected, and advising if smoke is thick, stay indoors, and if visibility is less than 5 miles, smoke has reached unhealthy levels.
An easier commute for folks who use the RTD light rail tomorrow morning. Service will start back up on the D, H, F, and L lines between the 30th Street and Convention Center stations. It was down for repair work for the past 10 days. Well, they were called in to help, but Denver firefighters needed a little saving themselves this morning.
Firefighters responding to a water main break on Zoo 9 near West Florida when their trucks got stuck in a sinkhole. The Denver Post reports that the 90,000-pound truck was stuck for 6 hours before a crane was able to yank it out. Water's now back on in that neighborhood, and the road should reopen in the next hour.
Well, it's another case of a park being loved to death in our growing Colorado, where one county could charge you to use their park so they can afford the upkeep.
And here in Denver, we see scrapes and new construction everywhere. So how do we keep our heritage? We take a walking tour to find out.
And attention Walmart shoppers, how new tariffs against China could soon send your grocery bill skyrocketing.
Welcome back. A new kind of pay-to-play. For the first time, Larimer County is considering a fee at Devil's Backbone Open Space.
The director of the Natural Resource Department tells the reporter Herald that our growing Colorado is partially to blame. They say because the park in Loveland is so busy, the county needs to charge a fee to clean bathrooms, maintain the property, and patrol the parking area. But first, the county wants input from you. A public hearing is scheduled for sometime in November or December. And
as our Colorado grows and changes, scrapes and new construction are on every corner.
But holding on to our history is vital. And this was a theme this weekend as thousands stopped to take in Denver's architecture.
Liz Gilardi shows us how in a city always changing, our heritage isn't forgotten.
To Airbnb or not to Airbnb? That is the question here in Colorado.
Well, it pays my mortgage. It pays utilities for the most part. No, it's great.
Mick Barnhart has rented out his 5 Points carriage home for 3 years. His home has been voted the best Airbnb rental in Denver. He charges up to $144 a night. He says the added income has changed his life.
It's simplified my life and has given me a vision to...
We apologize. That was obviously the wrong story. We'll bring the correct one in just a minute. But if you missed out on Doors Open Denver, you can still check out historic homes. We have a link to featured places so you can make your own walking tour. And we want to hear from you. What does your Colorado look like? You can email us at rco@thedenverchannel.com. Well, RTD will hold meetings in both Longmont and Lafayette over the next 2 weeks. They're considering cutting the LD routes that run from Longmont to downtown Denver. They say the routes have low ridership and should be cut as they struggle to find people to fill open driver positions. But authorities in Boulder County say the route is key for people who need to get back and forth to Denver. The first meeting will take place this Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the evening at the Longmont Public Library. The second is the following Wednesday, same time, at the Lafayette Public Library. Well, CDOT has a message for anyone out looking to check out Colorado's fall colors. Their advice, be cautious while leaf peeping. If you hop out of your car to take pictures, make sure you're looking for passing cars and trucks. Also watch out for cars pulling off of roads, and also look out for cars that might be traveling at slower speeds. Good advice there. Well, tomorrow is a big night in primetime here on Denver 7.
Season 27 of Dancing with the Stars premieres tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And there's a big reason for Broncos fans to get excited. Former Super Bowl champ DEMARCUS WARE is joining the cast of the 13 celebrities in this competition for the Mirrorball Trophy. Other celebs hitting the dance floor include Olympian Mary Lou Retton and Facts of Life star Nancy McKeon.
I've seen DEMARCUS WARE show some moves on the field.
He's got moves, I bet.
I
have some good feeling about that.
All right,
Good
cooling
feeling
down.
about this cool down too.
Yes, we're finally going to be back where we should be for this time of year, especially as we're officially in fall now. Our temperatures for the next few hours, though, will remain mostly in the 60s. We'll drop into the 50s for overnight lows, and that's where we will start tomorrow morning. 58 degrees by 7 a.m. By 9 a.m. we'll have 66 degrees and 73 by 11 a.m. But we are expecting to have highs only in the 70s tomorrow and chances for rain during the day as well. So keep some rain gear with you just in case. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s right now here around the Front Range, so it is still very comfortable out. But thanks to a cold front pushing through, we're going to really change things up over the next couple of days. 88, though, was our high today. And you've probably noticed that September has had an abnormally large amount of very warm temperatures in the 80s and 90s. 90s up around Fort Collins and Greeley. We almost broke a record today by only 2 degrees. We missed our 90-degree record afternoon high today. We hit 88. It was hot and sunny. And by Tuesday, we'll have 65 degrees with cooler air settling on in, at least for a little bit. But I wanted to show you this picture from Becky and Scott Williams. This from Gunnison. Coniferous in a sea of deciduous is what they've named this picture as they sent it from Gunnison. Thanks so much for showing us that wonderful picture. I love it when the trees turn the oranges and the reds. This from Shannon Lukens, just outside Steamboat. This is a ski resort, the ski area here, and these are plumes of smoke coming from the Silver Creek fire, which is still burning. So you can still see that occurring up into northwestern Colorado. The good news is we do have some moisture headed that way. There is a